Police in London have preemptively arrested 10 environmental campaigners after Extinction Rebellion threatened to shut down Westminster for 2 weeks. The Climate Action Group, which plans to cripple transport networks in the British capital, has said it's also expecting similar protests in 60 other world cities. In a possible indication of what's to come, some of the movement's members occupied a shopping centre in Paris over the weekend, calling for an end to capitalism and excessive consumption. Well, Extinction Rebellion's campaign begins on Monday with protests planned in Europe, India, North and South America and Australia. The group has several key demands, including that governments declare a climate emergency, halt biodiversity loss and reduce carbon emissions to net zero by 2025. XR, as it's also known, was established in London and describes itself as a decentralised movement that pursues its aims through grassroots activism. It claims to have a presence in 72 countries in all, and it shot to notoriety in the past year by staging a number of protests.
Not resisting, we are not fighting. We are doing this for the love of...
Well, for more on the group and its aims, I'm happy to say that social commentator Mo Anzar and Andrea Walker, a political commentator and New York Observer columnist, joins us live on the programme. Andrea, can we kick things off with you? The majority of climate scientists agree we're seeing rapid biodiversity loss, rising global temperatures, the destruction of our rainforests. Now, there's a pretty strong case for radical action, is there not? A moral case even.
Well, look, Extinction Rebellion is without question Britain's fastest growing pagan religion. And the reason that I refer to it as a pagan religion is because it has all the classic hallmarks of a group of religious fundamentalists. A belief that their view is the only view that's acceptable, a desire to shut down everything that does not talk to their worldview, and a fundamental belief that they are in charge and everybody else ought to go to their beck and call. I think they're an extremely dangerous organisation. Now, firstly, let's make some obvious points. Pollution is a bad thing, and people oppose pollution. Extinction Rebellion claim that there are some people who are in favour of pollution, who wish to destroy the earth and wish to make humans extinct. That, of course, is a lie. People are against pollution, but how do you resolve pollution? You resolve pollution by technological advancements. The technological advancements that Extinction Rebellion oppose. Remember, we have lifted 1 billion people out of poverty since 1990 in a new industrial revolution, which is going to end our reliance on fossil fuels, which is going to make the world a safer and healthier and less polluted place. Extinction Rebellion oppose it, and I believe they're condemning people into poverty while simultaneously destroying the environment based on their own religious zealotry.
Mo, Extinction Rebellion have been described as ecomaniacs, an extremist anarchist group breaking the law with impunity and, in fact, have got their tactics badly wrong. Are they alienating the wider public and, in some ways, undermining their own aims?
I don't think those are the overarching aims and objectives. And to hear somebody who supports, broadly speaking, the Tory far right, calling climate change activists religious zealots, I think is bloody hilarious. Let's get to the point. The climate is in crisis. The world is in crisis. There are economic, social, political and environmental challenges we have to face. Now, while everybody else is arguing about the likes of racism, war, we're not tackling poverty, we're not tackling inequality, we're not tackling global injustice and unfairness and things that need tackling. And what this generation seems to be saying is, you've messed things up for long enough. You're not really listening. The only way we can actually get your attention is actually by civil disobedience in the footsteps of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks and people who decided that peaceful, non-violent public protest, displays of public outrage, but tamed and controlled. Because don't forget, for Extinction Rebellion and anybody who's involved in political activism or any kind of a change agenda, they're going to use your actions and activities against you. So once you know that the side of dark politics that some of us unfortunately have to deal with, they will use your activities against you. There will be fifth columnists, as in the Spanish Revolution, infiltrating your ranks. There will be Tories dressed up as Labour people and Labour dressed up as Tory people. There will be anti-climate change activists getting involved. And it's only going to take one spark for a far-right authoritarian government, the likes of which this country has never, ever seen, to bring martial law and a police state into the city. We have Brexit preparedness ready. Michael Gove has his finger on the trigger, and he's happy to pull it.
Andre, people bemoan the inconvenience caused by these protests, but it could be argued that it's because governments are failing to act on the environmental crisis that groups like XR are being forced to take radical action.
Well, and if that were true, then maybe there might be an argument in favour of it. Look, Extinction Rebellion have demanded effectively a return to the Stone Age, a removal of economic progress, a commitment to not grow the economy, a commitment to damage.
Why are you using the language of religious radicalisation, Andre? I really don't understand.
And so, hang on a second, I was about to say something. So look, so essentially, the British government, for example, has committed to being zero carbon by 2050, which I think is an eminently sensible and proportionate response.
Trust a word that comes out of number 10.
Our cities,
you can't trust a word that comes out of number 10 at the minute.
Our cities become cleaner every single year. Our cities become cleaner every single year. We had a problem in the past, remember, that these people in the climate movement began
this kind of climate change denial doesn't help.
To diesel,
right.
And we now
Andre, we get it. Andre, can we move forward?
That
Andre,
there is a significant danger.
Listen, we need to move forward on this. Look, we get the point.
With shouty maniacs like you.
Andre, please. Andre, can we well, look, excuse me, I'm not part of Extinction Rebellion, all right? Now, let me just make something clear. I am one of the anonymous millions and billions that support their cause, right? I'm certainly not a religious nut. I've actually left my rock and roll band at home with my son, with a chicken biryani on the go, to come here and fight for this, because I think it's an important cause. And it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter which way you lean. Andre,
you believe that your God,
let's do the viewers a favour. Let's do the viewers a favour.
God-given right to do whatever
I'm not part of Extinction Rebellion. I'm a journalist and a commentator. Look, I'm a journalist and a commentator.
I was meant to be answering the question.
No, allow me to.
You're not a commentator, you're a liar.
Okay, guys, there's just a slight delay, so you're just speaking over each other at the moment.
I'd like to respond.
I will ask you something now. Just Mo, 30 seconds. Mo, 30 seconds. Andrea, we'll come back to you in just a moment.
I was supposed to be answering the question.
Yeah, hold on a minute, Andrea. Just 30 seconds on this.
Because he just interrupted me.
Shutting down cities, Mo, can hold on. We can't hear either of you if you keep talking.
I'm going to continue talking because I don't think it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to shut me up like this. I was halfway through answering your question, and this guy insisted on shouting over the top of me. I'm going to continue talking simply because you asked me to answer the question. I'm going to answer the question without him interrupting.
And they are still going to stand up.
The question you asked is whether people are behaving reasonably.
Let Andrea finish. Let Andrea finish.
Because in truth, hey, look, we can either do this interview or not. If he's just going to shout over me,
go ahead.
We're just wasting our time here. But the answer to your question is that, look, if people were not getting their way on the environment, if there were not actions being taken to clean up pollution or against plastic bottles or to reduce carbon emissions, then perhaps it would be sensible to stop people in the streets going about their business. But in fact, there are no climate deniers in this country. The truth is, we are taking action on the environment, but this group of extremists believe that whatever they say, everybody else should acquiesce to.
Okay.
Well, alas, we live in a democracy.
Mo, shutting down cities can have dangerous consequences. How would you feel, for instance, if someone died because the protest stopped someone from getting to hospital? Additionally, we've heard of primary school children not sleeping because they're terrified the earth is going to end before they get old.
Yeah. If I can speak directly into the camera, my 11-year-old son who was at home with the band, hello guys, and we had a debate before I came on tonight about does he want to leave school and take a break for an afternoon or a day to go and protest. And he was worried about the consequences at age 11. He understands that the climate is suffering and that rapid change is needed. And me and my generation, those who came before us, have made a real mess of this. And sorry for that. But Ibrahim, I'm going to tell you, you should go and protest when you feel the need. Don't worry about the consequences. We are trying to do things in a good way, but change is always difficult. And the people who fear change, who don't want change, like Boris Johnson and the far right, people who want authoritarianism here, who want to divide us, they will use climate, they will use religion, they will use any agenda they can to make us divided. So we have to be strong. We can't have anarchy. We've got to stay calm and stay strong, because apartheid would never have ended.
Okay.
Slavery would never have been abolished. There would not have been secular freedom. So we need to do these things, and we'll do our best. And everybody needs to pull together, because this is about all our futures, yours and mine.
Andre, the final 30 seconds to you.
Hey, look, you made a good point. I thought it was important. I saw a group of children walking around the other day saying, you will die of old age, I will die of climate change. We are lying to people. The Earth is not going to end in 5 or 10 years. But we do need to tackle pollution. But I will tell you something. You reverse the economic advantages that have lifted 1 billion people out of poverty, and you do not make the Earth a better place. Extinction Rebellion are lying to you.
Andre Walker and Mo Antar, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your take this hour.
All right.